Grand Slam Romance. Not only is this my favorite graphic novel series of all time, this is one of my favorite series of all times. I've reread it multiple times. I will continue to reread it because they make me laugh every single time. I think these are some of the funniest books I've ever read. They are some of the gayest books I have ever read, and they are criminally underrated. If not underrated, maybe under the radar is a better term. Not that many people know about this book, which is such a crime. These are incredible. If you are gay, you will like these books. If you are a queer woman or woman adjacent, you will like these books. This is pure dyke drama, pure messy, dumb lesbians, pure sapphicness, absolutely incredibly gay, and so funny, and horny, and weird, and just unashamed of being itself. Totally carefree, totally incredible and wonderful. And I think the best way to sell you this book is to let the book sell itself. I think I'm just gonna have a slideshow of random panels from this book playing throughout the whole video because I think this art style is incredible. I think the jokes are incredible. I think if you see this book, if you find this book, if you have access to this book, if it's at your library, you should read it. You will enjoy it, I swear. Like, you will enjoy it. It is just a fun time. It could not be more fun. I think this is also the most beautiful graphic novels I have ever read. I read a lot of graphic novels, and I feel like I've read all of the good gay ones. Especially this year, I have been reading some absolute slop of graphic novels. These are so beautiful. There's so much attention to detail. Every single panel in this book is so fleshed out. It's so beautiful. It's so vibrant. The colors are so vibrant. Every single page. It is stunning. It is striking. There is so much detail in the background. You need to reread these books multiple times because every single time you will notice some funny, tiny little detail in the background. There is so much care and effort put into these. I criticize a lot of graphic novels for being lazy. You can kind of tell when an artist gets tired and they start cutting corners, they start not fleshing things out, the backgrounds get very simplistic, the character designs get really simplistic, and you can tell when a graphic artist is struggling. Which, to be fair, books are a large feat. There's a lot of pictures in this, and these are 3 full books. They're all like 250 pages. These are full books, but they are not lazy in the slightest, and I love that. That absolutely elevates this into the most beautiful book I've ever read. And funny story, I did some research into the authors when looking this up and trying to find more people talking about this because no one is talking about this. Before writing these books or drawing these books, the illustrator, Emma Oosterhous, had never done more than like a 30-page comic, which is insane to go from only drawing short little comics to the most fully fleshed out art in a graphic novel I have ever seen is an incredible leap, and she did it absolutely spectacularly. And that is very well complemented by the writing, which is written by her spouse, actually. This is a married couple. Dr. Ollie Hicks is the writer. They are a doctor. Their Twitter handle is Dr. Ollie Hicks, which I think is just hilarious since this is a book about just the dumbest, horniest softball lesbians you've ever seen. And I like saying that it was written by a doctor, because it was. Now that I've done some preemptive glazing, I will get into a summary of what these books are about. This is a sports comic, but you don't need to know anything about sports. My knowledge of sports comes from High School Musical, and I think Emma Oosterhous played tennis, she said, and Ollie Hicks doesn't even like sports. They wrote a comic about sports, and they don't even like sports. Which is hilarious and funny, and you absolutely don't need to understand anything about sports to read this. This is about softball, but it's semi-professional softball in the middle of nowhere America. The stakes could not be lower. However, to our main character, Mickey Monsoon, softball is the most important thing in their entire life. They live and breathe softball. They are absolutely committed to their pretty mediocre but actually pretty good for the region semi-professional softball team, the Broad City Babes. They are the MVP, they are the catcher, they are absolutely determined to win this season, the statewide softball championship, whatever it is. They're in contention to win and their biggest rivals are the Gaiety Gals. And this year, the Gaiety Gals have a secret weapon, which is Astra Maxima, who is Mickey's ex. But not only is she Mickey's ex-girlfriend, she is a magical girl. Thanks Sailor Moon. She can transform, she can fly, she has super strength, but she is not a superhero. Okay, there are magical people in this book. They do not fight crime. They do not save the world. They do not care about morals or, like, doing good. They only use their powers to play softball. She can hit balls into outer space. She can run around the bases so fast that they catch fire. The wind from her running so fast knocks people over and breaks their bones and sends her opponents to the hospital. It is ridiculous, and she is the only person with powers in this first book in this semi-professional softball league in the middle of nowhere, America. And again, she is not a superhero. If anything, she's kind of a villain. Astra Maxima got dumped one too many times by one too many people important for her. Now her evil villain mission is to fuck every single woman in the world. And she's doing it. She's succeeding. She's making a dent. She has slept with every single person on all of these softball teams. And not just in the semi-professional American leagues. So she has just come back from Europe. And in Europe, she went to a magical girls' school where there are a bunch of magical girls like her who all train to play softball. So there is a magical leagues in Europe, which is like the big leagues, and they're all magic. And so they're all doing the craziest things possible. So she has trained in the big leagues, also slept with every single person on all of those teams, and also various women across Europe. And now she has come to ruin Mickey's chances of winning this softball tournament because the captain of the Gaiety Gals is Mickey's rival, who's this rich girl named Jasmine Von Schitz. Incredible name. Who has paid Astra a bunch of money to come destroy Mickey. So they're rivals and enemies and on different teams, but they were childhood best friends, and there's still that spark of attraction between them, and those romantic feelings are still there, and you know they're gonna get together, and you know they're gonna sleep around even when they're not supposed to because they're on different teams. And Mickey realizes that the Broad City Babes have no chance of beating this magical girl, and so their only option is to team up with a new player in town. This man has come from Germany and is starting a different team to compete in this tournament, and he has access to some other magical girls. He's doing this because Astra fucked his wife, and he wants to fuck over Astra Maxima. And the captain of this new team, the Danger Dames, is a magical stud named Wolfgang. Wolfgang Kröningen, who I believe has a business card that says Wolfgang, captain, center fielder, inspirational speaker, pop star. Because she is also a famous German techno pop star. And a magical girl who was trained in the big leagues in Europe and has come to destroy Astra, because guess what? She is Astra's ex. She dated Astra while they were at St. Helga's, which is the magical girl softball school where they all trained to do softball. They were the power couple of the school, but they were in a very tumultuous off and on relationship. And they also have chemistry and beef. But they still love each other. But they also are on different teams and are at war, but also still get along and still have feelings for each other and are still attracted to each other. So Mickey gets recruited by the Danger Dames to work with Wolfgang to defeat Astra. And then Wolfgang and Mickey kind of have a thing going on. They get some romantic tension, but they both know that they are both also interested in Astra. And guess what? This is a throuple. This is a polyamorous, queer, non-binary, sapphic, two butches, multiple race representations here. I love the representation in this because it doesn't give a fuck about telling you anything about any of these people. It is unashamedly just fucking queer. Everyone in this book is gay, and no one explains any of that. There's no, like, labeling. There's no, like, talk of identity. They just exist in a world where everything is fucking gay. There's no homophobia, there's no transphobia, there's no racism. You're just allowed to do whatever the fuck you want. And I think that creates this really fun culture where the book doesn't tell you jack shit about these characters. You just know they're fucking gay. For example, at the very start of this book, we have a list of players. I don't know, I'm showing you this because I'd probably just have the fucking graphic. But there's a list of players, and I think it would have been really simple to put like pronouns and identity, sexuality next to all of these character introductions so that you know what to label them as or how to refer to them. And it doesn't. And I kind of like that. And I'm not a person who hates labels or identity politics or anything like that, obviously. But I do think there's something incredibly refreshingly queer about all of these characters just being able to do whatever the fuck they want and say whatever they want and refer to themselves however they want and not explain it to you, the reader, and you just figure it out as you go, you know? Everyone's just fucking gay. Don't worry about it. None of your business. There's no sense of restriction or being held back or having to play into a role or anything like that. They're just absolutely free to be as fucking queer as possible in whatever ways they want, and I loved that. Now I am gonna get into some spoilers because I'm gonna talk about all three of these books and do like a brief little plot summary of those two as well. But honestly, this isn't a series that you care about spoilers. You don't care about spoilers. You read this for the characters and for the jokes and just for the ridiculous, fun, sexy time of it all. And knowing what happens in these books absolutely will not diminish your enjoyment in any way whatsoever. There aren't really big plot twists. There's no like mysteries or grand reveals of anything. You just want to follow these characters and see what kind of bullshit they get up to and see what they say and what they do and who they sleep with, and it's just a good time no matter what. Because again, I've reread these, and knowing the story does not diminish the experience in any way whatsoever. So, spoiler alert, by the end of this book, Mickey also discovers that they are a magical girl, and everyone in this universe who has magical powers is called a magical girl, whether they're a girl or not. There's a character named Old Man Krim, who is also referred to as a magical girl, despite being a man and a father. They're just all magical girls, which is, again, just fucking queer and funny as hell, so why not? So Mickey discovers that they are a magical girl at the end of this book, and they win the game, the big game, at the end, as you'd expect, with the Broad City Babes. With the Bell City Broads. Was I calling them Broad City Babes this whole time? It's Bell City Broads. I can't fucking read. What's Broad City Babes? Is that something? Broad City was a TV show. Whatever. I'm sorry. And the magical rules for this are fun and stupid and ridiculous and wonderful, just like you'd expect it to be. Their magic is powered by the love of softball and gay thoughts. When they need to transform, they think about their love of the game and they think gay thoughts. And that is how their magic system works. And probably why they aren't superheroes. And why they only fucking play softball. And so Mickey, being super gay and in love with two women by the end of this book, and being so in love with softball. Softball is their real girlfriend, so they're like in love with three women, and one of those women is softball. They get magical powers by the end of this book. Und dann, für das zweite Buch, gehen wir nach Deutschland. In the second book, we have to go to Germany, to the magical leagues, because Mickey has become a magical girl. They have to get their magical girl license before they're allowed to play softball anymore. And also, Astra has to go with them because her license is expired. Because, of course it is. Astra's really funny. She's a really I don't give a fuck boy. Of course, by the end of the book, she realizes that she doesn't want to be a fuck boy anymore. She says, I don't want to be a fuck boy, I want to be a fuck man. She steps up and is in love with these two people and no one else. And is trying to get her shit together. But also, she doesn't have the passion for softball anymore that Mickey had. She actually only started playing softball because it was Mickey's favorite sport. And Mickey was her childhood friend and, like, one of her best friends. And so they initially bonded in their childhood over softball. But really, that was Mickey's thing and not Astra's thing. And Astra's good, and she can play, and she did play. But St. Helga's and the magical leagues and the seriousness of it all really burned her out of the sport, and she doesn't even care about softball. So she doesn't care about getting her license, really. But she's there because Mickey cares about it, and she's scared that if she tells Mickey she doesn't care about softball anymore, then Mickey will dump her, because Mickey is in love with softball. But of course, I'm sure that works out how you expect it to, and Mickey loves her anyway in the end. Spoilers. It doesn't matter. Again, you don't care about the spoilers. You care about the fun antics. And the fun antics for this are Mickey and Astra both end up as like interns, apprentices, students on the Berlin Grinders, which is the team that Wolfgang usually coaches. She came to America in the first book as like a special thing, but really she's the captain of the Berlin Grinders in the magical leagues in Europe. All of the magical league team names are like really funny and ridiculous. This whole book's really funny and ridiculous. I cannot stress that enough. It absolutely does not take itself that seriously. It's so fucking good. It's such a lighthearted good time. Read these books, please, please. I wish I had more clout. I don't have any clout. I don't have any followers. I don't have that many subscribers, but like, read these books. If you're watching this, you have to read it. You don't have to, but like, you should see if your library has it, because my library had them, and I read them for free, and they were incredible. And then I went and bought the copies of the books. I bought used copies of the first two, but the third one I actually pre-ordered. Okay, I don't pre-order books. I'm very stingy, and I read a lot from the library, and I like free things and cheap things. But this series is so good that I went and pre-ordered it and bought it because I wanted to support these authors and this publisher, because this is so under the radar. It needs more support. Go see if you can find this. Go read it. Go give them a good review. Unless you didn't like it, in which case don't review it at all. But you will like it because it's fantastic and funny and gay. And you're probably fantastic and funny and gay. Maybe. I don't know you, but like there's a chance. But anyway, this book involves Astra and Mickey back together as a couple, trying to work it out in the magical leagues and work their way up and to actually play. Mickey's not in full control of their powers yet. Astra doesn't even care about playing, and so they're like on the bench, water boys doing absolutely nothing, and Wolfgang is the captain, but this year she is the co-captain. Due to some drama in the first book, and like the embarrassment of the Danger Dames losing in the American leagues and like getting kicked out by Jasmine Von Schitt's antics, whatever. You'll see when you read the book. I won't spoil everything, so you are missing out on things if you aren't reading this book, and you should read them because those things are also good. But Wolfgang is kind of in hot water, really needs to prove herself as a captain, but she is being put as a co-captain this year with Gina Krem, who was Old Man Krem's daughter. I'm gonna say Krem. I'm pretty sure it's Krem. They're very French, and it's not Cream, because I'm not gonna call him Old Man Cream, even though it's kind of funny, but it's also kind of gross. But I kind of want to call her Gina Cream, but it's Creme, and she's very French. She's always smoking a cigarette out of nowhere. Like, a cigarette will just magically appear out of nowhere. Like, in the middle of a sex scene, she'll be smoking a cigarette at any time. She'll, like, get a baguette from the gas station when they, like, stop to buy food and shit. Hilarious. She's very French. And she and Wolfgang are sort of butting heads co-captains. But they're also hate fucking constantly. And also Astra and Mickey are living with Wolfgang because they don't have any money and they don't live in Germany and they need a place to stay. And Wolfgang's a rich, famous pop star captain of the magical leagues, so she's absolutely loaded and lives in a penthouse. And there's a fantastic running gag about Wolfgang's penthouse. All these little markers that show us, like, when we're changing scenes and location, it'll be like Wolfgang's penthouse, and it'll be like Wolfgang and Mickey and Astra's penthouse, Wolfgang and Mickey and Astra and Gina's penthouse. And it's fun. There's lots of fun little gags all throughout all of these books. There's a similar thing with Jasmine Von Schitt's houses in the first book because she's rich. It'll be like the Von Schitt's ancestral condo circa 2003 or some shit. Just ridiculous, funny little details peppered all throughout this that you absolutely need to read this book to appreciate. So all of these messy lesbians are living on top of each other and in each other's orbits. And also Gina Krem had a crush on Astra in high school, at the Magical League high school. And like Astra asked her to prom and then stood her up because she was a fuckboy and she was with Wolfgang. And so like she hates Wolfgang and Astra for this. And Wolfgang hates Mickey and Astra for what happened in the first book, but also she's still into them, and also Gina's still into Astra and Mickey, and they're all fucking each other. They're all a hot mess. They're all horny. They're all gay for each other. They all hate each other, but it's never like that serious, and they all work it out in the end, you know? But the messy dyke drama along the way is what you live for. And by the end of this book, everyone accepts that Astra wants to retire from the magical leagues, and also Wolfgang forgives Mickey and Astra, and the three of them become a proper throuple. And Gina gets pushed to the side. Poor Gina. But Gina gets a lot more screen time in the third book. By the way, book 2 is called Major League Hotties, and book 3 is called Farewell to Babes. And in the third and final book, this is a trilogy, it's finished, go read it all, you can read it all now. There's no excuse to put it off until it's finished, it just finished this year. I'm sad to see it go, but it was also an incredible ride, and I'm so glad I get to reread it. But in this third book, Mickey realizes that they want to go back to the Bell City Broads. They miss their friends, they miss their hometown, they have a lot of hometown pride, they love the love of the game. They're not in it for magic and softball and like fame and notoriety and all these snobby European people. They just want to play softball with their friends, and so they want to move home back to their old team. But one of their girlfriends lives in Berlin. Wolfgang lives and works in Berlin, and so are they going to be separated? How do they do long distance? And also, Astra kind of fucks off. She is on the Farewell to Babes tour, in which she goes all around the world apologizing to all of the women that she has ever had sex with, which is just everyone. She is finally ready to settle down. She's achieved real fuck manhood, and she knows that Mickey and Wolfgang are her one true loves. She's in a serious relationship with these two people, and she doesn't want to sleep around anymore. She wants to settle, she wants to grow up, and so she is on the Farewell to Babes tour, where she goes to every woman she's ever had sex with and just says goodbye and thank you, and, you know, it's over. We had fun, but it's over. And a lot of these women are really into her because she's hot and wonderful and a great softball player, and she's just the hottest woman in the world, basically, and everyone is in love with her a little bit. And a lot of them are, like, mad at her, or because she ghosted them, because she, you know, only slept with them once and then wouldn't talk to them again. So she, and actually Gina, go on a road trip all around Europe to say farewell to all of these babes. And they have an emotional heart-to-heart because, again, Gina was one of the first women Astra screwed over and ghosted. And honestly, there could have been a little more there. I thought, like, there'd be a bigger scene with that. But we get a lot of scenes with them and them bonding and becoming friends and also hooking up a little bit. There's some other hookups in this book because while Astra's gone, Mickey and Wolfgang are, like, struggling to deal with Astra's loss because she's basically ghosted them. She's gonna come back, but for the time being, she's, like, inaccessible, not answering their texts, so she's sort of flaked on them. And Mickey is going back to America, and so they're like, well, I don't want to tie Wolfgang down, you know? She's gotta be a free spirit. She can sleep with whoever she wants, and so Wolfgang actually ends up hooking up with another character named Rock, who's in the second book and is mentioned as if they're a big deal in the second book, but you don't actually see that much of them. And so I was like, Rock's overrated, but then in the third book you get more Rock, and I'm like, no, never mind, I get it, I love Rock. I roll with Rock. So you see Wolfgang and Rock hook up, which is great, like, just butch rap, like, butch shit. Butch for Butch. Where are all the Butch for Butch books, by the way? If you have any Butch for Butch recs, let me know. There's some Butch for Butch in this. Incredible. Big fan. Very funny. Very... it's just horny gay drama. I love this book. I love these books, guys. But of course, all of the flings are short-lived, and by the end of the book, the three of them are committed to each other, and they know that they're going to work it out, despite their struggles, despite any long distance they may have to do. They are fully in love with each other, and they're gonna live a grand, happy life together. It's a grand slam romance. And again, don't let me spoiling all of the plot beats for all of these books ruin your experience of this. You need to read it. I'm missing so much. There's so much I'm not saying. I use these videos as, like, a recap for me, but honestly, I don't even need a recap for these because I know I'm going to reread them. Even talking about them now, I want to reread it. Like, sometimes I just grab one of these books and open it. You can open this to any page and you will laugh at something. There is a joke on every single page. Multiple jokes on every single page. If none of the images I put up made you laugh today, you're a liar. or you weren't looking. You might be blind. I'm sorry if you're blind. Oh yeah, there's slight boobage in this. This one is the most explicit. It is not explicit at all. It is incredibly tame. It's very horny. All of these characters are sleeping around and like making sexual references to each other, but it's not erotica. It's comedy, and there's little to no nudity at all in this. There's like makeouts, but it's all suggestive. There's nothing on page except like a tiny bit of boobage in this. I was very surprised by the tiny bit of boobage in this. And it's not full on. I think Mickey takes like a nude, and so on the phone you can see that there's like tiny little boobs on the phone. So it is not explicit. It's not smut. This isn't pornography. It's a comedy. It is 18 plus though, rated. I mean, it's an adult book, but it's not explicit. But it does not shy away from gay sex. Gay sex is the entire crux of this book. it's really the heart and soul of this book, to be honest. Just a bunch of horny, dumb gay people doing horny, dumb gay shit in the most camp, overdramatic, funny, satiric, heightened way. I love these books. I cannot recommend them enough. It is such a fun time. And for a graphic novel, if you are not into graphic novels, you should still read this, because again, this is the most fully fleshed out artwork I've ever seen in a graphic novel. I know a lot of people read graphic novels and they're like, I don't feel like I get my money's worth. I feel like I blow through them really fast. There's not enough substance. They're really short. It's just not worth the monetary investment. Well, one, library, and two, I know what you mean. I've read books like that. I can sometimes open a graphic novel and blow through it in like 20 minutes. These are not like that. Again, because there is so much detail in them, you really take your time and really appreciate the art. The artwork really, really adds value here, whereas in some graphic novels it just seems kind of functional. Like, that's kind of how the story has to be told, so there has to be drawings, and the drawings work to tell the story, but they aren't exceptional. The drawings in this are exceptional, and you want to look at them, and you want to look in the background. And you can just flip to any page of this and really, really, really appreciate it. But also the artwork doesn't carry it. I've also read graphic novels where there's a lot of reliance on art, and there's not that much dialogue. There's not that much actual plot or story or reading. You're just kind of looking at the pictures. This is not a picture book. There's a lot of dialogue. It's all very funny. There's a lot of characters. There's a lot of story. It's not like a fast read. It's not a super slow read. It's not totally bogged down. Like something like, I think Alison Bechdel's books. I've read a couple of her graphic novels, and they kind of read like essays with like accompanying pictures. This is not that. It's not too bogged down with text. It's not too bogged down with pictures. It's a perfect blend. There's a lot of meat. Again, these are all 250 pages, roughly. I've read graphic novels that are like 100 pages, 120 pages, and you're like, yeah, that's not really worth $25. You know what I mean? If I was gonna buy it full price, because it's just way too short and you can't appreciate anything. These are not too short. It's the perfect length. It's so meaty, but it's also not too long. These are absolutely worth the money and like the experience and the story. Again, these are the best graphic novels I have ever read. So even if you are apprehensive about graphic novels, you will like this. I think. You will like it more than any other graphic novel, at least. This is the best graphic novel experience you are going to have. And I think it avoids a lot of the pitfalls that other graphic novels can tend to fall into. I know graphic novels aren't for everyone, but this story, these characters, this is for gay people. If you're gay, you gotta read it. You gotta give it a shot, okay? Trust me. Trust me. Go tell your library you want the first one. If they don't have it already. If they do, just try it. Just try it. Just see. Because I think you'll be surprised by how much you like it and how good it is as a story and how fun it is. And again, it's just the gayest shit I've ever read. And it's so carefree gay. And there are, again, a lot of race representations. We've got a stud here. We've got non-binary lesbians. I don't even know what race these people are. They don't talk about race. They talk about fucking softball, okay? And fucking every woman in the world. There's no, like, identity here. There's nothing that holds these people back. There's no, like, real problems. It's just really fun and engrossing. They don't have to worry about racism and sexism and homophobia. They just fucking have a fun gay time. and all of their problems are really dramatic and interpersonal. I mean, I guess at some points they're really poor, but like they're fine. They can just crash with their rich pop star friend. And so like there's no heavy discussional topics here. It's like a queer utopia, but a utopia where everyone still has dramatic emotional problems. But it's also not too melodramatic. Like it's very lighthearted. It's all very funny, and like you know it's gonna work out in the end, and it's not over the top. It's not ridiculous. You don't hate any of these people. They are all incredibly funny and incredibly sympathetic, and like just a fun fucking good time. I can't stress enough how good a time these are. Absolutely rereadable, absolutely worth it. Highly, 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 highly recommend. One of my top recommendations for anyone, especially anyone watching this channel, because you're probably gay. You're probably a lesbian or adjacent, sapphic, somewhere in that spectrum. Trans, non, whatever you are. You'll probably like this book if you're at all interested in this channel. I think this is a rare level of extra gay. I read a lot of gay books. That's the whole channel, is I read books about lesbians. But this book, this series is so entrenched in queer culture and so unapologetically immersed in queerness and subculture and just like queer being, inherent queerness that is inextricable from the plot of this book and the way the characters behave and hold themselves. It is extra gay. It's not just a romance novel where the three leads happen to be women or trans or not, whatever. It's just inherently gay. It's a supreme level of gayness that I cannot describe in words. It is simply something that is felt. You just have to feel it. You read this and you're like, oh yeah, this is some dyke shit. And I love it. I love this dyke shit. And you will too, because you're here. This, probably my best book of 2025, a graphic novel. And again, I read some shitty graphic novels in 2025, so I am not biased toward graphic novels. But I think this book is just fucking incredible. It's just incredible. Probably the gayest book I read in 2025. The only one I pre-ordered. This is the only book that I pre-ordered as a new release for 2025. I pre-ordered some like special editions of books I had already read that came out before 2025. But this is the only new book that I knew was going to be so good that I had to pre-order it, even before I read it. Because I don't like to buy books that I haven't read, to be honest. Because if I spend money on something I don't like, I will be mad about it when the library exists. But I knew I would love this, and I would reread it. And so, here we are. Great purchase. Very happy to support these authors and this series. And I think you should do the same thing. I think you should read it. If you listen to any of my recs, it should be this one. Because I think this is a hidden gem, and you will love it. Oh, also the covers. The cover's coming off, thank God, so I can show you. The book covers are people making out. I don't know who this is. I think this might be... That's Mickey and maybe Wolfgang. I know the first book has a cover of Mickey and Astra making out, but this is a used library copy that I got secondhand, so I can't take the dust jacket off. The second book is Mickey and Wolfgang. So who's on the third? It's Mickey and someone. Mickey and Astra again? Who dat? I don't know, but it's people making out, and it's great. It's a good time. And there's like in pagers. I mean, I guess that's not actually that surprising considering it's a graphic novel. Usually you only get in pages in books that are like special editions, but I guess if you're a graphic novel, want the full sleeve, why not? It's not like continuous. It's not a run-on page, whatever. Well, there's different people making out on the back. I didn't even notice that. That's Gina and Wolfgang. If you want to see the backs of the others, buy your own copies. Absolutely worth it. Beautiful art, beautiful books. Oof, heavy. Cause they're like big, heavy. They're big, heavy hardcovers. I think that's it. I think that's all I had to say. I've been recording for over 50 minutes, so let's not be here for an hour. Instead of spending an hour watching this video, you should spend an hour reading these books. It'll take you more than an hour, which is good. Some graphic novels will not take you more than an hour. These are worth the time. And they're a good amount of time you can invest in them, and I love them. Beautiful. I will reread them. I kind of want to reread them right now after recording this. I don't think I've reread the third one yet. I've reread parts of it, but it just came out a couple months ago, so I need to reread it. Maybe I'll go reread them right now. And they have another book coming out, I think next year, maybe 2027. I don't remember. It's is it a Pride and Prejudice retelling? Not Pride and Prejudice. One of the other ones. I don't read those books, but it's like whatever. I don't know. I'll show a fucking picture. That just got announced not that long ago. I'm excited to read that because I really, really trust both of these authors. I'm excited to see more from these creators. I love them. I love it. Fantastic. 5 stars, 6 stars. One of my favorite series of all time. And I read a lot of books, so that says something. So you should read these. Go read them. Go read them. Bye bye. Have a good night.